Hello, 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 hello. I may have made a mistake. I When I was looking for a couple games to fill the rest of the week, I was like, all right, no visual novels. I ain't ready for speaking for a couple hours. But let's make sure to put in the games that I skipped last time. And one of them was a visual novel. As you can tell. Don't know how long I'm going to go with it, but we'll see. It looks neat, at least. The second Milky Way like. We had Milkmaids of the Milky Way and now Midnight of the Milky Way. On the Milky Way, excuse me. Just a moment, I need to blow my nose. Oh, I made some attractive sounds there. So let's start. Let's see how far I can go. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held just but ourselves and immortality. We slowly drove, he knew no haste, and I had put away my labor and my leisure too for his civility. We passed the school where children strove at recess in the ring. We passed the fields of gazing rain. We passed the it was, oh shit. How embarrassing, I can't remember. Unfinished things are the worst. Well, I'm sure I remember how it ends. Would you like me to tell you? Well, in the end, the soft chugging of train tracks waked me up. Something important was being said to me. I can't seem to think of what it was. I have a suitcase in my lap and a hat on my head, and I am sitting in emptiness. And besides that, it's empty. It's like all of my thoughts have fallen out. This is a special sort of trouble. Must have been somebody once. I had to be. How did I end up this way? Where is this train going? I am a person made of nothing. When chasing my thoughts, I only find emptiness too. Turn up my audio so I don't have to speak quite as loud. There's one thing pulling me down to reality, and that's the gentle sound of train tracks. Hour zero. A drink with danger. There's no use sitting and doing nothing. Without much thought, I decide to wander to whatever the next room is. From the inside, I can hear life. That's where I'll find answers, surely. And it looks to be a bar. It has the sound of clinking glasses and soft humming. There sits an imposing devil, bent over his drink. Hey there, Fogface. His voice comes out low and gravelly. He gives off a slight scent of smoke. I've discovered a new feeling. That feeling is intimidation. Shake it in your boots. How quaint. There's not much I can do to a Fogface like you. Not anymore. Let's have a sit down. How about that? Wow. Games these days are really linear. They don't give you any choices at all. Fallout 4. Wah, wah, wah. Ah, what is this? Nothing is coming out. My mouth is... My hands shoot up to my face in panic. Nothing. It's not the fear killing my voice. I simply have no mouth at all. It's gone. No nose, no eyes. Everywhere my hands are emptiness. Now calm down there, chickadee. You're ruining my peace. If I could cry out, I would. I'd shout at the top of my lungs, but it's all gone. What happened to me? Where am I? And who? Enough of you! The man's deep voice ripped me out of my panic. He returns to his drink. Now you can sit there fretting over your pretty little face, twisting yourself to pieces. Or you can man up and have a drink. It's a perfect night for a gin and conversation. Not that y'all be doing much conversating. Suppose he has a point. This annoys me greatly. I take a seat next to him in defeat. There we go. We're the only ones in the car. There isn't even a bartender. What luck. Instead of a bartender, it's the devil who slides me a glass and pours. Got this from behind the counter. It don't taste too bad, I'd say. My name's Huffy, by the way. Even if I could respond, I realize I haven't got anything to respond with. Because even my name is gone. I look down into my drink. Looking back at me is a dark fog. That's me. This train, do you know how you got on it? I weakly shake my head. Maybe you're lucky. Forgetting's so easy. Not everyone gets that luxury. But by your stand-up looks, you seem like you got some good things to go back to. My stop is coming in due time. If you don't mind, I'd like to do some conversating. The devil takes a slow sip from his glass. Now, I don't want to be too self-appreciative, but I'd say I can read people pretty alright. When I see a fog face like you, I see somebody who gets money too fast. I'm so sorry. The coughing is gonna happen. Especially if I'm doing voices. That's no good, especially where I'm from. Where I'm from, it's best not to think too hard about nothing. But I'm bad at following my own rules, Fogface. Maybe that's why we're sharing a drink like this. If that's the case, I got lucky after all. You must not remember how you got here, but I do. I was finishing up some work, the kind that's supposed to go down easy. Like, it's not in his text voice anymore, but maybe I should still do his voice. Boss is getting me that picture. The job was some guy who was your height, but skinnier. I says, you got me clipping a bookworm? I guess he was clever with money in some way. Caused some upset with the fellas in high places. Nothing to worry about, of course, because by looking at him, I could tell I'd be getting drinks before dark. So I head out into town, thinking of how I'm gonna do this. The snow was clean and crisp, so it made for good thinking. A guy in the build don't have that muscle to fight back, but he sure got the brains. If I was him, I'd use all his smarts and all that money, and I'd make sure my back was being watched. I got a few guys that'd keep a gun around me. It was gonna be a good night, I felt. So it seems like this isn't just like the afterlife or heading to the afterlife of a normal Earth. Whatever's going on in this world, we got something fantastical beyond the afterlife train. I mean, come on, it's an afterlife train. We've been here. It was called, What Comes After. He wasn't so hard to find. He looked like a coat rack running around in that new suit he must have bought with the swiped cash. If he didn't get so greedy for that suit, maybe we wouldn't have waltzed like we did. Although I was plenty alright with waltzing. I walked right into his trap. I sometimes like to do that just to get myself giddy. I knew that he'd wait at the back of the alley, and there'd be maybe two guys behind me, and we'd have a real good waltz just for the fun of it. It's a cliche, but I'm a romantic. And the skinny fella that led me to this wonderful night, why, I had to give him a sloppy kiss on the lips for showing me such a good time. Oh boy, here I go killing again. You wouldn't get it. You're a stand-up guy, it's better if you don't. But there was a day back then that I learned to find joy in what I do. I could hear the sweet sound of knives coming out of sheaths behind me, and it got me more excited. You can't help but think, are they gonna swing or stab? Is the blade newly sharpened, or has it got wear in on it? Are they calculating sort, or are they full of fire? How long will this moment be? When you see the fight in another man's eyes, you know it'll be something to savor. Splorch. I push my blade right into the side of the first grunt. Goes in easy. It's like hot through butter. He goes down just in time for the other fella to jump out, swinging some iron pipe. I take that pipe with my Whoa, caraca. He's set flying into the frost. It's got my blood going, but it's nothing too bad. It just wasn't good enough, you see. There was no passion. And then I turned around. It was a skinny fellow I was sent to chip off. I'm afraid a weakness of mine is that I'm not too keen with faces. I'm better at seeing people with how they carry themselves. And this coat rag, well, I won't remember his face. But I'm sure as I'll remember his quick step and the hot feeling in my chest when his knife pierced the throat. You see a man's eyes and you see the fight in them. You can tell they're fighting for their life or they're fighting for something else. These are the eyes of someone who didn't care for his life. He was fighting because he liked it. I took my own knife, slick with blood, and gave him a good thrust to the side. As much spark as he had, I couldn't keep him standing, so I watched him gasp like a fish in the snow. I could have done anything. Maybe I'll be a clean-cut fella in another life, or maybe I'll go back into the dirty business. But as I think, no matter how many times I get reborn, I'll remember the heat that I felt when that coat rack of a runt stuck me a good one in the heart. Sounds strange in a line of business where you shouldn't be thinking these things, but it felt like, I was coming home. In one way or another, I was on this train. I know it don't make much sense, but that's the way things happen. I'm at a loss for words. The man I'm drinking with is dangerous. The overwhelming urge to run takes me. Oh, no more killing for me. I'm full, thanks. I found this drink, though. You want some? My name's Huffy. I don't expect a good dude. I don't expect. I feel like that's intentional, right? Because he's got the accent. But it's hard to say. I don't expect a good do-gooder like... Whoa! I don't expect a do-gooder like you to get it. You, your people, your lives, all cut out for you. I didn't try to get into this business. More like the business got into me. And then it really got into me at the end, like schlorp. Like, get it? I was stabbed. Some folks, we don't get to start off so clean. That's alright, Fogface. I can read you plenty fine. You won't have to stick with me much longer. Huffy puts down his drink. I think this is where I'll be leaving. No worries, I won't ask for another round. I'm not that soft. This line of business don't have much in the way of close relations. I'll give you a present. Carefully, Huffy removes his mask and places it on the bar counter, but he turns too quick for me to see. Since I'm here, maybe I'll turn over a new leaf. Think of that, Huffy, getting clean cut. If you're lucky, we won't meet again. And I need to blow my nose again. Be right back. Whew. Huffy walks away. I haven't touched my drink at all. I don't think I could drink it, even if I still had a mouth. But it's strange. Even though I'm shaking, even though he smelled like smoke, I think... No, it couldn't be. I get up from the bar. I need to find out where I am. And as much as I feel like I shouldn't, I take the mask that killer left behind. I don't have any regrets, he said, and he left me this. I walk out of the empty bar with hurried steps. The rooms I find are empty of life. The only sounds louder than my thoughts are rhythmic chugging of the train and my own panicked footsteps. The sensation in my chest grows stronger. Anybody. I just want to... That's it. Thank God there's somebody here. I open the door and a figure appears before me. A young man with a knowing grin. I can't tell if I'm to be comforted or suspicious. Can you... That was a demon. Can you speak? I don't know. I couldn't say. I'm cut off by my own surprise. Just before I couldn't make a peep, but now there's a sound. Even without thinking, I put a hand up to the mask and gave a sharp whistle. My ears are met with sound and my fingers feel warm breath. The mask Huffy gave me. That's good. It wouldn't be trouble if you couldn't. Most passengers here have a lot to say. You look like you have a lot to say as well. I'll help you however I can. I'm a passenger like the rest, but I've been riding longer than most. Shaheen. You can call me Shaheen. I'm about to offer my own name when my mind goes blank. I've forgotten that. Something so important. It's gone. Shaheen answers my hesitation with an understanding smile. Please trust me when I say it gets better. Everyone is a bit forgetful in the beginning. It's only natural. Because the shock of the situation, it's too much for one person to process. Normally one would be gathering some flickers right about now. He furrows his brow in deep thought. Can't help but feel awkward, waiting for this child to help me. He breaks the silence with a wary sigh. I'm sorry. This is something for you to find. Please understand. Gah. I can't hide my disappointment. Talking to more people may help. I already did that. I too wonder about this train. I can't tell you much. Have you looked outside yet? The view is unlike anything. Other than that, I wouldn't worry. Just keep your ticket close. It's surely on your person. Take some time for that case there. The case. I've got a suitcase. For some reason, I can't recall anything that's inside. My name, my suitcase, how I even got here. Shaheen's face goes unexpectedly solemn. Take care of your ticket. You'll find many a good soul on these tracks, but there are cruel ones as well. I grip the suitcase even tighter. Somehow I feel like I learned nothing at all. He's young and polite, but he still irritates me. Dancing around the subject like that. Still, his sincerity is there. He must have his reasons. You look unsatisfied. I understand. I've been there, being locked away with no clear path. I'm just full of phlegm and I need to get more tissues. I'll be right back. Okay, let's keep going. And the more you look, the more you realize you are completely, utterly lost. Do you think you will find what you're looking for? Well, I don't know. I see. Well, that is realistic. If you talk to some people, it might give you direction. I feel silly just saying that, as if I know what to do myself. Please excuse me. Shaheen's laughter comes out bitter. Now, at least, rest easy. It can be very stressful, coming to terms with all this unfamiliar place alone. But please don't worry. Just enjoy yourself while you can. And with that, he makes a movement to leave. At my fervent question, Shaheen lights up with laughter. Huh, you sounded like a child there. Or some long-lost lover. If I had a face, it would be turning the brightest shade of crimson. Aha, well, dear lover, I'm afraid I've got my own affairs. Please understand you're very entertaining. It's just some things must be done by yourself. But I'll visit you when I can, alright? For some reason my chest hurts. Shaheen gave me one more glance, as offer his condolences and disappears into the next car. Somehow it hurts. I feel compelled to rush after him, begging for a little more time. But that's just embarrassing. Even as the chest pain grows, it would be too childish. The thought of drinking with that killer isn't so unattractive suddenly. Anybody, really. A flash from the car window captures my interest. I hadn't thought to look outside yet, but there I see it. Through the window is a vast expanse of stars. The darkness goes deep and the lights fly past, too fast to grasp. Space. This is what space looks like. And the stab in my chest, I know that too. It's loneliness. So far, the game has done a pretty good job of establishing voice of the characters. It's had three, sort of the audience surrogate and more composed main character, the killer who talks in a rough voice, and the fortune teller who talks in circles, creating very quickly a feeling of distance between the characters that can be filled in through the narrative. For a time, all I could do was take in the scene, the sinking feeling of being small, of being trapped. It was all too strange to absorb. I went numb with the shock. What realistically can I do? All the way out here, without a face or name, and... that sounds so stupid, I exclaimed. So with my chest puffed out, I began to explore the cars as I came across them. Each car was filled with empty seats of simple construction, the only real impressiveness coming from the large windows that revealed the stars outside. Slowing slightly, I thought I caught sight of a small planet surrounded by golden rings. Occasionally there would be something that I couldn't make sense of, like the sight of a seabird, or a school of fish going by. It's too impossible. However, I've never been to space until just now, so maybe fish and birds and things of that sort are completely common occurrences. What a lovely sight. It's like nothing else, but even as I stopped to stare in wonder, I kept my chin held high. It did not help the beating pain caught between my ribs. My disappointment led me to taking a seat by one of the windows. Out of curiosity, I pressed my ear to the glass. A small tinkling sound, as if the stars themselves were clinking against each other. Maybe that's just their way of conversation. If I close my eyes and focus enough, maybe I can catch a few words. Maybe I can understand what they're saying. Maybe I'll learn something. We got a real bum on our paws. Welcome aboard the Gemini 22, valued passenger. You've been kidnapping for a while. I'm your devoted attendant, Doppler. It's a cat. A real and true talking cat. He's wearing some kind of clean-cut uniform, not a whisker out of place. Not a whisker at all, look at him, he ain't got none. Well, if it's a uniform, then it's certainly for this Gemini 22 thing. What is it, passenger? It's rude to stare. Sorry. You see, Doppler, I haven't seen another person in some time, and I'm a bit confused. Oh, so I take it you're trying to sniff out some answers, huh? That's just it. And you want me to help you? I nod feverishly. His wordplay is grating, but the prospect of help gets me excited like a puppy. The Catman gives me a taut smile. Aha, I see. Sure sucks to be Mew. Huh? You see, valued passenger, it's not really any of my business. Maybe I'm your devoted attendant, but I sure as hell ain't your friend. I'm just here to check for tickets and whatnot. Oh, but Mew got your ticket, right? I feel the urge to slam my suitcase over that smug feline's head. Instead, I exercise restraint and open it for the first time. Well, at least that I can remember. Look, the first thing I see is a shiny silver ticket. It's cold to the touch and surprisingly weighty. I hope to find a name, but the only thing I can read are the words Gemini 22, one way. The rest is foreign to me. Gee, passenger, are you sure I'm taking your time? I'm just making sure it's it, alright? Well, passenger, it would be a silver color, which is like a shiny gray. And you're longer than a few inches. Shush up, I know. I shove the ticket at the smug beast and he gives it a proper hole punch. This seems perfectly fine. He hands it back after an extensive look. I slip it quickly back into my suitcase. Say, Doppler, what would happen if I were to lose my ticket? What, are you planning on it? No, I don't know how things work around here, that's all. Sure. His face stays just a smiley, but his eyes feel like they're boring into me. Well, to put it lightly, you'd be in a world of hell. Well, you can't reach your stop without a ticket, right? Yeah, right. I can't tell if he's joking or not. Either way, this guy really puts me out. I already spent too much time here. A job's a job, yep. Look after your ticket, meow. And so the fiend pitters away. When Shaheen said there would be cruel souls on the railway, he really meant it. Still, seeing another person eases my pain just a bit. Oh, the suitcase. That's right, I hadn't really looked it through. Hopefully I'll find something that jogs my memory. Won't you look at that? A pair of gold-rimmed specs. Well, it's not real gold and the construction is a bit flimsy. From this I solemnly deduce I had weak vision and an even weaker bank account. Nothing else comes to mind. It's sure to tell me something. Except the postcard is completely blank. Apparently I was too busy to write anything yet. So frustrating. The font on the front of this card is a pleasant photo of the ocean. Unfortunately, nothing specific comes to mind. Once these must have been lovely. Now they're dead. When you pluck a flower, no matter what, it will end up wilting. I can't remember what or who they were once for. A pair of wedding rings. They feel impossibly heavy in my hands. These are made of real silver. How much did they cost me? I can't for the life of me remember. Even worse, I can't remember who they were for. A wave of misery washes over me. The reason I'm on this train had to do with these rings. I could feel it. These are so important. But when I try to dig deeper, my throat begins to close up. That's enough for now. I latched the case shut again. Yet again, I didn't learn anything new. In fact, I feel almost worse than before I checked. Such frustration. I wish I knew. Just one small thing for certain. I was so lost in thought I failed to notice that a small, watery-eyed creature had snuck up behind me. A rabbit of all things. They stand blankly with their red-rimmed eyes. Are you lost? They simply keep staring. Is your mom here? Is something on my... is your mom here? Is something on my mask? Sure, are you cheerful? I admit my spirits aren't that high. Nay, sure, cheerfulation, you crying cheers. I see now. The shorty is asking if I was crying tears, if I was tearful. What a strange question. I don't think I could even if I wanted to, not with this foggy face. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I'm just fine. But sure, I heard cheers. I think your heart was cheerful. I kept hearing cheers, so I went to she. That's something I don't know how to respond to. They may have gone a little too hard with that accent. It's a little hard to understand what you're saying, kid. Maybe my heart really was in tears. Aye, sure. I have you nuts, don't I? Suddenly the child burst into powerful tears. I'm so sorry, sure. I shot you. You sure was sadness. It's quite alright. No man's wish to hear about cheers is so emasculated. I think you mean emasculating, dear. Emasculated. I was never keen in school, sir. I'm sorry. Please calm down. It's alright. My heart was crying, alright? It was tearful. Finally, she hears me out. If she cried anymore, we'd have to swim through the cars. That's alright, sure. I ain't emasculated. You have a job sometimes. She pats my knee to comfort me. Thank you very much. The name is Billy. You have my welcomes. What a well-mannered kid, even if she is a bit eccentric. Nice to meet you, Billy. I'd love to give you my name, but I'm afraid I don't remember what it is. You don't remember? Sure, what's a tragedium? A terrible tragedium. Tragedium, certainly. So I'm trying to find something to make me remember. Oi! I'm looking for something too, my precious thing! Oh, well, what is it? Can't help but be infected with her sudden excitement. This'll at least be a nice distraction. It's true, my precious ash pie. 'Cause I have these pearls, you see. Pearls, like from the ocean. Aye, pearls! And I got on this train here, and I didn't have your precious thing anymore. Waterworks again! Billy, don't worry, we'll find it. Well? Absolutely. It has to be around someplace, right? Sure. So brave. I actually have no clue how I'm going to find those pearls. But now she sees me as so brave. I have no choice but to deliver. Why don't we get looking for them? Many hands make light work. Aye, sure. The word be lost, sure. Shoot up. Suitcase in one hand, Billy's paw in the other, and away we go. Oh, she's more snot-nosed than me. Speaking of which, gotta blow my nose. It's real easy to do the snot-nosed brat voice when you're snot-nosed. I have no idea what we're doing. Sure, how you doing, Rosie, in there? Got myself tucked halfway under one of the tables of the dining cars. Derriere out and up. Just as in the bar, there's nobody manning the place. That means we can search every place as we please. Except... Sorry, Billy, there's nothing but carpet under this thing. Sure, no need for sorries. I can see you're putting your whole soul into it. I appreciate the appreciation, dear. More searching that leads to nothing. The furnishings of this place are woefully outdated and worn, with films of dust blanketing entire rooms. Furthermore, the construction is just confusing. Walking from one car to another in a linear fashion feels somehow labyrinthian, with the repeating cars, and when they don't repeat, they seem to be out of order somehow. Say, Billy, if you had a bar and a dining car, wouldn't it make sense to put them together? If people were looking for a proper drink, they'd have a meal first, then head to the next car. Placing them too far apart seems like bad business decision. Whoever built this place must have been halfway silly. I pulled myself out from under the table with a sigh. If if I were to have a drinky, I'd want to walk off with me shopper first. Well, that's a peculiar line of logic indeed. Sure, you just don't understand. Dames must keep a fig. A fig? No reason why you couldn't keep one even if the bar was the next car. Although I didn't see any figs stocked in the cabinets here. Sure, you're acting shilly. Fig is in a tall glass dish of water. To eat! The dame got gams up to here. Figure. Hey, how'd a little kid like you learn to speak so indecently? Clever observation, sure. To eat! I'd like to give her parents a talking to, except they probably aren't here. Billy, are your parents on this train? Nah, they'd be off shelling most like it. I mean, you don't know for sure. Sure, I prefer them to be shelling than joining me. I shouldn't judge family matters like this. It's rude to intervene. But I can't help but be concerned. There's a clear ring. I hear it coming from Talash car. But we already went to that car, and it was empty. Dread overtakes both of us. Me heart is in a notch. Now calm down, dear. I'm sure it's just an auditory hallucination. Yes, an albacori hallucination. Of course, and we just coincidentally both had it at the same time. Of course, we share in it. Be it coincidence. Sure, I'm feeling for my soul. It's fine, it's fine. I really don't know if it's actually fine, but it feels like the right thing to say. I'll go check things out. Can you stay here for me? I will guard the home base with me life, sure. I salute the brave soldier. With a pounding heart, I march valiantly to my doom. No, don't go thinking like that. That's too masochistic. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be... There's nobody there. Everything is as we left it. Even the dust settling on the empty seats lies undisturbed. I can't tell if I'm half mad or doubly loony at this point. No, that was real. A sudden wave of chills comes over me as the car changes somehow. Hello? Can anybody hear me? I am answered in the most peculiar fashion. With spooky ghosties. The car is no longer empty. Out of nowhere, they simply appeared, like phantoms. With some hesitation, I approached one of the figures. Excuse me, do you happen to... The person I'm speaking to is something like a translucent shadow, flickering like a candle in a gentle wind. They don't acknowledge me at all, or at least not in a way that I can recognize. Can you hear me? No response. I wave my hand as in saying hello, but they seem to be in another world entirely. They won't be able to talk for some time. Please understand. I know that polite voice anywhere. You were just like this when you first entered the train. It's the way of things. Well, that's a strange way to enter a train. A strange way is suitable for a strange train, isn't it? That makes sense in its own nonsensical way. Oh, that's just right. This kid knows more about this place than I do. So if anyone would have seen Billy's treasure, it would be him. Say, Shaheen, have you seen any, pearls? Oh, plenty. That was easier than I thought. That's fantastic. Where'd you find them? I didn't find them myself. Rather, I traded for them when some merchants came to town. Apparently, it's a popular practice in southern regions. I suppose I did find a few myself, but they were hardly any quality. I should have known. Yeah, of course, it's too good to be true. That's what I get for not being specific. Any reason for the question? I'm actually looking for specific pearls. They're supposed to be on this train. A friend of mine, well, they're important to her, so I was hoping. You ever seen any pearls? Well, once or twice in my earlier days. You see, Shaheen, when I ask a question like that, I'm not really asking about your past. I'm asking you something practical, like have you seen them recently, because I'm looking for them. Oh, how silly of me. A friend of mine, well, they're important to her, so I was hoping. Ah, that's much clearer now. Pearls on this train, No, it's blowing time. like trying to stop the falls. We both dive into deep thought. I apologize, I haven't seen anything like that here. No need for apologies. I'll try looking for them myself. Have you had any advancements on your memory yet? I scooted the volume knob when I unmuted, and now I'm not sure where it's supposed to be. Honestly, I was hoping he wouldn't bring that up again. Billy's been such a great distraction, I'd almost forgotten the pain in my chest. I feel so disheartened. No, not yet. I searched my case just as you said, and nothing solid came to mind. It's like I'm playing games with myself. I can't seem to win. That's troubling. I don't know how to help you in this case. Excuse me. But you have some time, so don't worry too much. It'll come naturally. Now I just feel like he's trying to make me feel better. How do I always end up being the child? I know. I have a present that might help you. He produces a set of silver inlaid cards from his pocket. They have a dazzling amount of detail in their patterns. I call these the ending deciders because they decide what ending you get. You want to play Old Maid? Old Maid, that's right. They're for fortune telling. It's a skill that helps when you don't know what to do. I was about to say I don't believe in that ridiculous stuff, but as I am on a train in the middle of space, I withhold my statement. Shaheen pushes a stack of cards to me. Go ahead, take one and no looking. Might as well try it. Metal. Feeling a bit obnoxious, I struggle to slide one from the middle. It's the card of... Shaheen swipes the card away quickly. I told you not to look. It soils the fortune when you do. Shaheen, what was that card just now? Please understand, you're not interpreting it correctly. It's quite scary looking, isn't it? But it simply means the end of things. For example, the end of your search. Are you bothering the other passengers? Or the end of this conversation. Generally, the death refers to not an end of things, but a cycle, a new beginning. If the fool is the beginning, the death sends you back to the fool. That's my limited knowledge of Tara. That's about all of it. The moon's got lobsters. I'll find you another time. And just like that, he ducks away. How does he move so fast? What were you doing here, valued passenger? I was enjoying the fine company of these good people. Isn't that right, Miss Lady? The shadow next to me does not respond. I better not hear you causing any trouble from here on out. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Thank you, valued passenger. And he finally leaves. I about fainted from fear that cat has such an intense way about him. He could learn some consideration from a certain somebody. Billy! It'd be best to tell her that there's nothing to worry about after all. But don't worry, Billy. It's just ghosts. They don't say anything. Billy! This. Billy isn't here. Neither is my suitcase. Billy, are we playing hide and seek? I check under the tables, through the cabinets, and back under the tables again. She took his ticket. I'm beginning to panic. She really is gone. Did she run off by herself? Is she okay? And my suitcase. My suitcase has my silver ticket. I think I'm supposed to protect no matter what. Where did I go wrong? Just when I feel like I'm about to lose it, I spot something at the center of the floor. A dark feeling climbs into my chest and stays there. Shaheen, he told me. You'll find many a good soul on these tracks, but there are cruel ones as well. A black spot. It's a pool of soot, and it thinly trails all the way up the ceiling into a crack in the wall. Well, I don't feel bad. I don't feel unwell or anything doing the narration, but, like, you can tell, it's difficult. I keep getting all sniffly and snuffly. So, I am not yet ready to do a visual novel, as it turns out, which is a shame. So I am going to have to stop it here. That, or I'm going to need, like, 200 tissues, because I'm already getting stuffed up again. I've already gone through like half a dozen. So, that's a shame. But tomorrow is Shoes Garden. I remember that one specifically